Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Advancio Tech Talks. I'm Rosie, and I'm excited to be your host today for this episode. Today, we're talking about cloud observability and how it can help businesses improve their performance, reliability, and security. We're also going to discuss the latest trends in cloud technology and how businesses can stay ahead of the curve. I'm thrilled to have our guest speaker with us today, Savan Patel, the Senior Marketing of Middleware. Middleware is a leading cloud observability platform that helps organizations get a complete view of their cloud infrastructure and application. Savan, thank you for joining us today. We're excited to learn more from you about cloud observability and the future of cloud technology. So let's get started with our conversation.
Thanks, Rosie, and thanks, Alex, for having me. And I look forward to speaking my insights in this podcast.
So the first talking point is your background and transition into tech. Savan, can you briefly share your journey from being a digital marketer to your current role? How has
Yeah.
marketing experience influenced you in your work in technology?
So my journey is quite interesting. I did my engineering in a non-tech role, right? I did my engineering in automobile. Then after that, I switched towards the marketing side. So back in my initial days, I used to do internship with Red Bull. If you guys would might be familiar with the name Red Bull. So I was working over there as a marketing intern, and that's where this bug of marketing hit me, right? And then I switched towards the core marketing role, and I worked with startups, I worked with agencies, I even worked with enterprise level clients. I basically enterprise products, and so far everything was going good. And that's when this COVID era and the peak of technology boom came in, and that's when I was offered a role at Middleware, right? So Middleware is basically a cloud infrastructure monitoring tool, and the role that I do currently right now is, I would say, closely related to marketing, but poles apart from what I used to do earlier on, right? So the thing over here when it comes to marketing in tech, or say B2B marketing for a tech SaaS, is very different for conventional marketing, right? When it comes to this B2B tech marketing, you need to look at it in a way that your target audience would be looking into it, right? You need to understand the perspective of the developer, right? You need to understand that the first thing that your basically first job is to earn the developer's trust, right? You need to first earn their trust, right? You need to position yourself as someone who knows what that person is speaking about, right? Let's say I don't know anything about Kubernetes, so I cannot go to a developer and ask him to come to my platform and try the Kubernetes monitoring, right? So the very first change that I would say that happened to this new role and career kind of change was I made myself worse with the skills that I needed. So I basically upskilled myself, learned mid-level things about the technology, right? Like the tech stack and all the stuff, like the basic level, not something like a too deep level, because ultimately my job is to market the product, right? Not to build the product. So I got myself skilled with the necessary technology and tech stack and everything, and that's when I started marketing the product. And definitely my prior knowledge of marketing helped me really well, because the thing with B2B tech marketing is there's this a perspective that developer don't want to get marketed, right? That is incorrect. Developer want to get marketed in a way that it doesn't feel like marketing, right? If you look at the conventional marketing approach, where there's this pop up and there's this a newsletter where it's bombarded with tools and products and everything, right? This kind of marketing doesn't work for developer like to first try the product, evaluate the product, right? And then they would probably ask the C level people to buy the tool, right? So marketing to developer is something that's very interesting and very tricky at the same time, right? Because you are marketing to an audience that don't want to get marketed, right? So yeah, that was, I think, a brief overview of my journey and what I basically do at Middleware, and how I transitioned and why I transitioned. But happy to go deep if you guys want any more insights.
Yeah, and I definitely see what Savan is saying about having that tech expertise around marketing, especially right now with
Yeah,
AI.
yeah, definitely. Like AI is something, that's disrupting the market in a positive way as well as a negative way, right? Yeah, like it has helped quite a lot, but it has at the same time, created so much, I would say, base content, or so much basic level stuff in the system that you need to, make your voice a bit more clear, right? You cannot just like go to ChatGPT and ask him to draft a content and just paste it up on LinkedIn and position yourself as a thought leader, right?
And we go back to what you said. I mean, definitely technology has given us the personalization or the data
Right,
to carry on personalized ads, but
right,
that
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
mean that you would
yeah,
apply um, all, let's just say, just ChatGPT content. Because what
yeah, yeah, yeah,
happens then, it doesn't become that personalized once you
yeah, yeah,
ChatGPT
yeah,
it. So
definitely,
what are
yeah,
you use? What would you
yeah, yeah,
use
yeah,
data and
yeah,
personalization
it's
ads,
yeah,
personalized
definitely, it's
ads
all about.
All right. So now let's shift our focus to middleware. Could you give us an overview of what middleware offers in terms of cloud observability and technology?
Sure, sure. So middleware is basically an AI powered cloud observability platform. It's a full stack observability platform, and our core three products are infrastructure monitoring, log monitoring, and APM. Right. These are like the big umbrellas under which other sub services or sub products come in. But we are like a observability platform, like a full stack observability platform. So the way typically a observability platform works is you have the power of data correlation, right? So let me just explain it to you in a bit more detailed way. So we basically have this three main core products, which is like infrastructure monitoring, log monitoring, and application performance monitoring, right? Beneath that it comes, subcategories like Kubernetes monitoring, right? Like Python performance monitoring and all those subcategories, right? Apart from that, we recently rolled out two new products, which is synthetic monitoring and real user monitoring, right? They are associated with more of a front end part of the monitoring, but since they are inside our tool, right? Like we offer them uh, as inside our tool, we offer the power of data correlation, right? So what basically data correlation is basically you the data talks to data, right? Basically you could put it up in a simple way, right? Like the data set A talks to data set B, right? So let's say you are running an e-commerce application, right? And something goes down, right? So with an observability tool you would be basically able to see the front end part using real user monitoring, right, through session replays, that what was the actual screen that the end user was seeing, right? Beneath that you would be able to see the logs that caused that error, right? Let's say you run an e-commerce store and someone was trying to check out but they weren't able to process the transaction, right? So like just as I said, you would have the recording which would say that hey, user was trying to add everything detail, but when they click on pay, the button didn't redirect it, right? So you would basically able to see that this was what the user was seeing. Beneath it you would see logs, right? The logs would tell you basically that the API that was supposed to fire when the person clicks on payment didn't fire, right? Then you would go inside those details to see why it didn't fire, right? So that's where this data correlation comes into place, that you would be able to figure out the end-to-end journey of an error, right? Basically the root cause analysis of an error becomes easy with the help of an observability tool like middleware. And we are like cloud based, so the advantage that we have over other players is in terms of price, right? Like if you might know Datadog and New Relic, they are like super expensive tools, right? But our tool is like far more economical option than them.
Savan, you mentioned that your marketing experience has influenced your work and technology. Can you talk
Right.
about technology evolving and how it's impacting marketing strategies currently?
So definitely, since we use our own products for improving ourselves, right? Like we recently had an event in collaboration with Grafana, right? So what we basically had was a event registration form that we typically have on any of the events, right? But what we did was we enabled real user monitoring for those pages, right? So we were able to kind of see that how people were reacting to that form, where uh, where they're hesitating a bit to enter their company name, or where they're hesitating a bit to add their profile field and anything, right? So the way I see that technology adoption towards improving marketing is very much on the positive side, right? That there are a lot of tools, right? You could use it for yourself, right? You could. So the way I see technology adoption, it's really helpful for from the marketing side of you, right? Especially in the tech space, right? Like you could use your own tools, you could use n number of tools to make your product better. You could make your marketing better, right? You could basically use those data and insights from those tools to better position yourself in the market, right? Let's say you enable this heat maps and things, right? So you would be able to see that how people are reacting to your landing page, right? Are they just scanning it, or are they following the F pattern of reading? Are they following the E pattern of reading, right? So you could use those insights to figure out in a way that you could place your key information, right, in a way where user are like reading the most of the part, right? Let's say I have a heat map of a landing page, right? And I see that people only scroll to 60% of the fold, right? So I could use those insight to make sure that I highlight the pain point of the end user and position my solution before the 60% of the fold, right? Because after 60% of the fold, there's hardly 10% of the audience that going beneath that threshold, right? So all of this data and all of this insights, recent advancement in tech space, right? And especially the option of open source tools, right? Like earlier
Mhm.
there used to be tools, right? But they used to be expensive, right? So startups weren't able to afford those tools, right? But this recent most adoption of open source world, right, where you would find an open source for almost any paid tool, right? That movement, that open source adoption has created this wide adoption of the tools, right? Like for, let's say, for heat mapping and session recording, earlier it was Hotjar, right, which was super expensive. But right now Microsoft Clarity is free of use, right? So this open source adoption has kind of fosters that it has fostered this technology adoption. And yeah, I think that's my insights on this point. But happy to dig deep if you guys want.
Right now, every marketing knows that every marketer is crazy about Google Forward right now. The
Yeah.
new update that Google had with, and I think it's way more transparent since we had the apocalypse a few months ago,
Yeah,
or I
yeah,
think that at the end of last year we had a major change in the way that we do ads and the way that
yeah, yeah.
consumers know how businesses or platforms consume their data. So things
Right,
have changed, and I'm pretty much glad the conversation has changed
right,
around being
right,
transparent of how we consume the data of the user, because I think before there
right.
was this kind of like joke of, oh, if I go to a website, then I see the same ad all over again, and
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
my
There
cell
was
phone
this.
is hearing
Mm,
everything that I'm
mm,
saying. But
mm,
I
mm.
think it's more being conscious
Yeah,
around the fact that you do leave a data trail wherever you go,
right,
and
right.
that
Yeah,
platforms can definitely
yeah,
respect your privacy because now you're
yeah,
given the choice of not being tracked,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
being transparent to businesses, and if you choose to allow tracking, that you will get a very much personalized experience on the internet.
Definitely, definitely. I agree to it. And yeah, definitely, this like recent most, more and more strict compliance of GDPR and everything, right? And like this, privacy setting in Safari browsers and the recent most security rollout, especially on, the Apple ecosystem, right? They all, have made quite a lot of change in the way the, advertising or the usage of data used to happen in the past. So yeah, definitely that's a really good point and a great addition to it.
Totally honest, it's a new challenge for a marketer. I think that
Yeah,
content creation, once it
yeah,
became easy through AI, we
yeah,
hit this spot where now it's a challenge to have
right.
the information
I agree.
necessary to target the right audience. But it's also
Agree.
part of the fun. I mean,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
it's
definitely.
fun
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go back to benchmarks
right,
uh,
right.
and
And
discover
hit,
these new
yeah,
options.
yeah, it's a more of a fun, right? Because you challenge yourself to hit that next benchmark. You think about, this is the level my ads or my marketing or my position is, right? How do I take it up over there, right? So there's this challenge and the fun part of the challenge, right? Where you get excited, you try out experiment, you try out cool experiments, right? Which you would unconventionally not have done, right? So yeah, definitely, it's very much of a fun part, but slightly challenges as well. So yeah.
Hey, thank you for both of your insights. I'm going to ask this question for both of you guys. In your
Uh-huh.
experience, have you seen technology and marketing departments collaborate effectively? Can you guys both share specific instances where tech innovations enhanced marketing strategies?
About this session replay, the product that we launched, right? Like uh, we earlier, like we had this Microsoft Clarity and all those tools in place, right? So we were getting used to the basic insights and basic forms of recording. But once we, launched this tool, right, like this session replace inside the rum, right? That's like the only one specific middleware specific use case or a scenario where technology basically helped with the marketing side, because we were able to like see how people are feeling about the tool and the basically the entire user journey, right? Like the way they read the blogs, the way they read the landing page, and then if they go inside the tool or not, if they go inside the product, or if they have any you know concerns related to the product or not. So right, so that was like one middleware specific scenario where we used our own tech for this marketing purpose. But apart from that, like since it's a more of it's like a B2B tech SaaS, right? So the way usually tech uh, supports in the marketing is by being the backbone, right? So like we position our products or our tech, right, in a way that like being transparent and honest, right? We just position our products in a way that what they are, right? And like it's a kind of tricky to explain that how that tech and marketing basically overlaps, but it's a kind of backbone structure, right? Where basically this tech is like the backbone that we are positioning on the front part, right? and there's this small things like the messaging and all, right? So we basically talk to our developers, and we understand the language that they speak, and then we write our copies in a language that they use, right? So that's how that the terms that we use basically makes a developer understand, or makes them curious about the product, right? But over to you, Alex. Probably you would have a good example or something.
I mean, since I joined Advancio, it's definitely been a journey into getting familiar with tech stocks and how to communicate and how to learn about the tech industry, and definitely pivot
Right.
into creating content. I think personally,
Right.
I'm generation millennial, so I've definitely been there for for the mainstream of the internet and social media and the big boom of Facebook, Instagram, everything.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think when I started my career in marketing, it was definitely an exciting moment to be there. It was almost nobody was doing it, and creating messages and interacting with brands. Now brands with thanks to technology with AI or augmented reality, get the chance to engage with their audience in a more different ways. And I think that engage directly, because if we go like way back to the 90s, if you're watching this and you're Gen Z or you're Gen Alpha, you wouldn't know this, but
Right.
in the 90s, brands didn't interact directly except if you went into a store. So definitely having experiences
Yeah.
on the internet. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Netflix uses AI to recommend movies. Amazon uses AI
Mm.
to personalize your purchasing
Yeah.
process. Google uses
Yeah.
also AI to target audiences. I think that Sephora right now is using augmented reality to try on makeup.
Yeah.
You're getting all those experiences through the internet, and not
Right.
necessarily
Yeah.
not being physically there. And I think that's exciting. I'm excited to what's to come.
Definitely, the road ahead, especially for this AI powered marketing, looks very much on the greener side, right? So yeah, only time would tell that what could be the next option of marketing, right?
All right, thank you both. Savan, so Middleware is constantly innovating to develop new and improved cloud observability solutions. Could you discuss any
Right.
recent or upcoming advancements with middleware that you think your audience can be excited about?
So we recently rolled out two new products. One is real user monitoring, and other is synthetic monitoring. Right. So real user monitoring, I already, but let me give you a brief about synthetic monitoring. Synthetic monitoring is basically, you could say a kind of test system, right, where you basically monitor the system performance with simulated requests, right, where you basically send out a request, or mimic uh, the movement, or you mimic the way that app would be used by the end user, and then you monitor that system's performance, right? So that's basically synthetic monitoring, and we recently rolled out that product. Apart from that, we already have AI powered alerts and AI powered insights. So AI powered alerts and AI powered insights are nearly interconnected elements. So basically, AI powered alerts is something that once a system is going to is expected to hit a threshold, right? We priorly alert you that the system is about to hit the threshold, and you could just have a look at it right inside our platform, and figure it out basically what is going wrong, right? Is the CPU usage high? Is the data request is more, or is there any specific issue? And then you could just go inside that particular log, or go inside that particular system, or inside that particular error, and that's where this AI powered insights come in, that it basically tells you that this is the issue, and this is a possible way you could fix this issue, right? but it's up to the end developer or DevOps to, you know, to take that action or not. But we basically give you an high level overview of the possible solution behind a particular error or issue.
Alrighty.
And yeah, sorry, Rosie, but I like forgot that APM and integration part, right? So basically, we are rolling out more and more agents on the APM side as well as on the infra side, right? Apart from that, we are rolling more and more integrations with the APM as well as third-party tool like flagging solutions, right? And like other key tools like, you know, communication tools, or the basically the tools or the ecosystem where you know, your current workflows are. So we are planning to launch integrations with those kind of tools, and we are planning to launch integration in that space as well really soon.
Alrighty. Thank you, Savan. The cybersecurity landscape is also continuing to evolve. How does middleware address the unique challenges faced by organizations, especially those related to cloud security and observability? What role does AI-driven insight play in this context?
So basically, middleware helps a lot with the security compliance, right? Basically, there are quite a few compliance that says that you need to have a observability solution in place, right? In order to make sure that everything like all the data and systems all are up and all are in place, right? So we help quite a lot to security teams, but like not totally or 100%, but we help a lot, right? We help them figure out if there's any unusual activity in the system via logs, right? Let's say any unwanted uh, you know, machine has been added up, or let's say someone is running more machines than they want. So like you could use that log data to see that how many machines are running and what data they are basically producing, right? And apart from that, you would use, you know, infrastructure monitoring to make sure your infrastructure is up. If it's you know, if any unwanted thing is happening on the infrastructure side, you could use the infrastructure monitoring to, you know, kind of get the sense that what is basically happening with your infrastructure, right? And apart from that, there's this alerts, right? So let's say even if anything goes wrong, right, we would probably alert you, and with our integrations in place, we would alert you on Slack, we would alert you on email, we would alert you via SMS, right, depending upon the severity of the incidents. Yeah, we definitely do help a lot with you know, cyber security and specifically security of your infrastructure. But like we like kind of not 100% into cyber security thing. And like, yeah,
Alrighty.
apart from that, like I already mentioned this, you know, severity of incidents, right? So we follow OSWAP top 10 methodology, right, where we identify the alert as high.
You mentioned that middleware helps organizations make informed strategic decisions. Can you share
Right.
some examples of how your company has helped middle-sized other businesses with their continuity and growth?
One example was for a startup, right, where basically they were earlier using multiple tools for observability, right? So like observability is something that's like not recently rose, like it's been there since quite a few years, right? But there are two things to it. One thing is very less people know about observability, right? Second thing, people use multiple solutions for making their system observable, right? They use one tool for log monitoring, right? They use one tool for infrastructure monitoring, right? They use one tool for application performance monitoring, then they use one third party, you know, visualization tool to visualize all the data from this multiple tools, right? then they use another tool for real user monitoring, right? So the way that this things are in the market, that there are multiple tools, right? But with us, with middleware, what the startup was able to achieve was tool consolidation, right? Tool consolidation is basically uh, using one tool for the maximum feature it offers, right? Like they started adopting middleware, and they were able to you know uh, move from third party visualization tool inside our to our own platform, because we also offer our own built-in dashboard, right? So they were first able to migrate from a visualization tool to middleware, right? Then they were able to migrate from APM monitoring tool, SM monitoring tool, and log monitoring tool, right? A separate tools, right, into middleware. And on top of that, what the key thing they were able to achieve was the data correlation, right? Because earlier they were using like 5 to 6 different tools in order to get insight about their system, right? And on top of that, they were also paying a significant amount of money to store that data, right? So uh, once they came in into middleware, they were definitely able to consolidate this multiple tools with just one middleware. And apart from that, they were able to achieve the data correlation, right? So let's say whenever they faced any challenge, or whenever a particular error log is generated, they were able to see that uh, how what was the infrastructure position when that error occurred, right? Or let's say which machines were up, right? Which agents were running when that this particular error log was recorded, right? And apart from that, they were able to get this time series based visualization of their data, right? In a visually representative way. So yeah, this is one unique example, or you could say a use case, basically, where a startup was able to consolidate multiple tools with just one tool, middleware, and they were able to correlate data between their systems using middleware.
I'm really happy that we did this. I think that middleware provides a solution that not only, I mean, helps businesses, but also entrepreneurs, startups. And I think
Yeah,
that's the right direction that technology is heading. Most of the time, I think technology is moving from this very big concept into a more um, achievable and mainstream
yeah,
services and products with low no code. Right now,
yeah,
I mean, everybody's getting a piece of that tech. And I think
yeah,
that Advancio is translating into that by providing services around Salesforce, Encore, and also ServiceNow. I mean, it's the future. And as long as companies keep adapting into applying these types of tech, low code, no code, and tech products, I think that we are heading into the right direction of things. I think that middleware definitely is an opportunity that should not be missed.
it's basically my pleasure to be on this podcast. And yeah, it was really insightful conversation, and I enjoyed it, right? It didn't feel like a podcast. It was more of a conversation, right? A candid conversation kind of thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed this meeting, and definitely the podcast went quite well, right? Like your Alex, specifically your thoughts on the insights were thoughts and insights on technology were also really great, and great addition to the points.
So thank you very much for being here, Savannah. Definitely enjoyed our talk. Thank you, Rosie, for hosting. I mean, I feel very welcome. I would highly suggest people to either watch or participate. We do have open spaces for being guest speakers, so we are definitely going to follow up in your contact forms at www.advancio.com/contact. So make sure that you fill out that contact form, and we will follow up with you. Either if you have a tech product or an IT service, we would definitely be very happy to collaborate together. Um, Savan, thank you so much for teaching us about middleware, about the new options that we have for startups or either enterprise level companies that want to adapt this type of technologies and products and make basically their lives easier. So thank you
Right,
very
right.
much.
And thanks, Rosie, for bringing up such insightful questions so that me and Alex were able to, speak on it.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you both, Alejandrina and Saban. This brings us to an end of our talk. I really appreciate
Uh-huh.
your answers, your time, and I really loved both of you guys' insights. Please like and subscribe. Make sure to share this on all your social medias and leave any
Of course,
comments that you have in the chat box.
of course,
That
of
would be it
course.
on our behalf.